yes. Conversations of the Heart. Season 2, episode 29. We're talking storms and breakthroughs. Looking forward to getting to this conversation. It's gonna be a good show. Looking forward to it. Brian, what up? Ed, what up? So we're gonna get into this amazing conversation with Shanaya Arnold. She's amazing at what she does. And she'll come on here and tell you about that. But we're talking storms and breakthroughs, which is very, very ironic. Today's been a great day, and we all go through a lot of things, lots of storms and ebbs and flows. So we're going to get into it. Oh, I think she's in the building right now. Let me tap her in. Yeah. Shanaya.
Hello.
Shanaya, what's going on with you?
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here too. I'm happy. I appreciate you. I see you're very festive. You got the Christmas tree out there. Like you living life. You living life.
Oh yes.
Dope. So for people who don't know, you are the host of Jewel Talk TV.
Yes.
You're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you're a content creator, and a kingdom girl. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna get into the kingdom girl too. But so just give yourself so just introduce yourself to my followers and just let them know who you are and what you do.
Okay. Hi everyone. I am Shanaya, but I go by the name Essence, and instead that's my artist name because I make music as well. I be singing, rapping, and I'm an artist. And I am a kingdom girl, which a kingdom girl is someone who loves Christ and has a relationship with him. I'm not religious, but I have a relationship with him. So that's a big, I got to put that out. Difference. I got to make sure I say that. Yeah. Cause I'll be doing some stuff and people looking at me like, but you supposed to be, I'm like, listen, I am very raw, transparent. I just love God. And I love to laugh and I love to be unique. So I always talk about, that part. And what else do I do? And I love being a content creator. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just talk to us. Well, talk to us a little bit about Jewel Talk TV.
Okay. So I have to say, for those of y'all who don't know, I thank God. I call Terrence Bishop. I call him Bishop and my mentor because we used to work together in the Bronx. And he was encouraging me the whole entire time. Like he was telling me, because I was telling him I was just afraid of everything. I knew I wanted to do stuff in the church, like as far as like God wise, but I just couldn't put everything together. And of course, Terrence, you have an amazing gift of like pulling out the best. So you was like, well, why don't you do 60 seconds of Jewel? Because I was talking to you about what I wanted to do, and I was like, yeah, but I in my mind, I thought I had to I had to arrive, or this had to happen. He was like, Shanaya, that if you waiting on that moment ain't happening. You need to just start off there. And that was a seed that I needed. Like, I was like, all right, you ain't got to tell me nothing. Let me start. Cause it was a fear that I feel like so many people have, but they don't know. You just got to jump, like figure it out. Even if you don't know how to swim, figure it out once you get there. As long as as long as you got that life vest on, like then we're gonna figure it out as we get here. That's how I live life. Like, all right, God, it's me and you. It is what it is. I know that I'm not called to everybody. I know everybody's not gonna get me because I am a city belle. Like I'm a New Yorker with Southern roots. So there's times I'll be like, yeah, what's up, what's good? And there's times I'll be like, yes, sweetheart. I have to learn that about myself,
Right. And I'm so proud that you started that, and you started to do the 60 seconds of Jewels, and then it branched off into Jewel Talk TV. You know what I'm saying? So tell the people what Jewel Talk TV is all about.
So I started to a little bit, right? Exactly, Dom. Like, yes, take the lead. Like, Jewel Talk TV comes from a place of I'm a foster care system. I'm a system kid. Like there's no other way to say it. Like I'm from Harlem, New York, but I was born throughout the crack epidemic. So I was born with crack cocaine in my system, and I went straight into the system. And I lived the life of a system kid, like from house to house, physical abuse, this abuse, that abuse. Like I went through a lot growing up, and my faith in God is what kept me through. But I used to be ashamed of a lot of things I went through. Like I was embarrassed, and I felt fake. I felt like one moment I was, oh, everything's fine, and the next moment I felt like I had this big secret about my life. Like they don't know you've been through A, B, C, D, E, and that used to be my across the bear. And I was like, listen, I'm about to help somebody, because there's people who like when I was working for a program, I won't mention the name of the program, but when I was working for a program, I met a lot of kids who came from the foster care, came from Rikers. Like, I work with so many different kids, and they loved me. They loved the fact that I never judged them. I understood them. And I never tried to be like, oh yeah, I've been through that too. I let them talk about it. And there's some things I will share as need to be. Everything ain't always meant to be said. Like if I don't feel led to share, I won't share, But I realized that I have a voice, and I need to stop trying to fit in and look for who's going to fill my voice. Just speak. Like, say you at a party and then you got music playing, and then you like, you choose to dance to what you want to dance to. And I had to learn, my music is my music. People want to dance to what they want to dance to. And that's basically the basis of Jewel Talk TV, like letting women and men know that we got something. Let's talk about it. We got some stuff, Yep.
We got some stuff. And the funny when you mentioned, us, we'd be in the office and we talking for hours, we'd be trapped in that office talking for hours and going through this. So to see where you're at right now and to see what you're doing right now, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I really am. You know what I'm saying? It's dope. It's good to see.
Likewise.
So let's talk about storms and breakthroughs. I think that's kind of where this whole topic came from, was just going through the storms, right? And what happens to me, like when you go through the storms, right, there's just pivotal things to me that kind of can get you through the storms, right? That's the ability of faith, right? The ability to transition and the ability to pivot, right? At any moment's notice, because life happens and you have to have the ability to pivot, right?
Yes.
And also the power of your own words while you're in the storm.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've been through a lot of different storms in your life. I know it, So what has kind of rooted you? Like what has gotten you through navigating a lot of those storms?
Like for me, and this is where I talk about like my faith, because from religion to relationship, I had to learn in life, there is no routine that you can put yourself in to box yourself when it comes to like when you're in a fire. Because if a fire was to break out, you're not about to follow none of the manuscripts or what they said to do this. You about to just like, and all you know is you got out. So I say that to say, when I would go through storms, what rooted me is the relationship with God and learning that to feel what I'm going through. Like, don't mask it. Don't put crazy words to describe it. Kind of feel it and walk through it.
And that's true of a lot of our situations, because what we try to do is we try to, work it away, or we try to drink it away, or, drug it away, or, even, sex it away. Right. And we always try to do something to mask what we feel, instead of just kind of ripping the Band-Aid off and feeling everything that we're supposed to be feeling. And that also delays the healing process. Right. It's because some people say, man, how do you get over stuff so quick? Or it's because I allow myself to feel. Right. Like I allow myself to feel. I remember what it was like to go through certain things, and instead of feeling it, I went to a drink. Right. And then it doesn't mean I'm never going to feel it. It just delays the process, right? But when you're clear-headed and you allow yourself to feel, and you're going through that faith journey, right? And you're going through that part of it, you have talks with God. You have talks with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, you just never know. It's just like you need sometimes to clear a head and say, you know what did I do wrong in the situation, right? Or how did the situation affect me, right? So sometimes it's fake, like, oh, that stuff doesn't bother me. No, but it does bother you.
It does.
Like, you're a human being.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes people always say, and that's why I like when you said relationship, because sometimes people in church will always tell you, just pray everything away. You're going to pray everything, just pray it away. And it's like, there is a place, of course, for prayer. And I believe that. But you can't pray everything away. Some things you have to deal with. Like, you have to be able to pray and deal. Right? And for some of us, it's pray and go to the doctor. Pray and go to therapy. Pray and do. Like, a lot of times I find with, like, church, it's like this and that's it. And it shouldn't be. Right? It shouldn't be like this or this. It should be an and. Right. Do this and do this. Right? Right. And I think that's where sometimes, like, the faith, like having faith in God that things are going to work out and that He's going to bring you through. Right? That's a strong part of yourself. So in having the faith, then now you could transition into actually now doing the work, going to the doctor. Like, if you feel something's wrong with you, right, you're not just gonna sit here and say, "Man, my chest hurt." But God's got it, But I'm gonna just lay here in pain and die, just saying, "God help me." Right? Like, no, like, you better go to the good doctor. You better go to the cardiologist and try to figure this out, right? So I think we always have to use a lot of common sense too. Right? As we're on this faith journey. So in your seasons of storms, right? Because we all go through ebbs and flows of life, right? We all do. And sometimes your faith is tested. And not everything is, I have faith and that's it, and everything is good from there on out. No, sometimes when you have faith, the storm gets harder. Right? The thunderstorms come, the snowstorms come, like, everything. That's it. And everything feels like it's coming at you, like, so hard, so heavy. And it's a heavy storm. Right? And that's the thing. And it's like, man, but God, I prayed, I have faith in this and that, but, like, why is the storm coming? So like in your storms, like in your heavy seasons, right? How did you move and transition? Because sometimes people get stuck in a storm, right? And it's like, I just have to stay here and sit, right? But life is about transitioning and pivoting, right? In certain ways to where it's like, okay, I see that I'm here, but how do I get, like, here? Even if it's not the end goal, but how do I get just a little bit ahead to get out of the storm?
Well, I am 32 years old. I was suicidal and depressed for 20 years of my life. Like 20, I'm going to say 22, 23. I think the earliest age where I decided I'm going to kill myself, I'm done with life, I'm going to kill myself. This is how it's going to be executed. I had a death date for myself. I had a plan, like, at 19. I'm like, I'm not going to live past 19. I'm not with this. And after about 20 something years, I said, God, my life has felt so hard. I felt like this was my identity. I got tired of being the one who, I felt like everybody in my family, not my immediate family, but connectors, like your cousins, your aunts, they label you as this one thing. And you start to believe this is all I'm good for. This is all I'll ever be. I couldn't see a destiny for myself. I couldn't even see my way out of this. And that's when I told God, I'm like, God, I believe in you. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I don't believe in the entity of church no more. Like, that's where I was at. That's where I was at. Right. I said, you know what, God? If you're real, you gotta show me who you are, because I don't want to take another breath. I don't want to breathe again. I'm tired of life. And that's when God spoke to my heart and was like, Shanaya, you got to let go of everything that you think you know about yourself, because you don't know yourself. I know you. And he was like, I'm going to give you a reset. And everything that I tell you to do is what you're going to do. Everything that I tell you to be is what you're going to be. Yes, they've abused you. Yes, you got molested. Yes, you got, you went through this. Yes, they turned their backs on you. Yes, all your friends left you. Yes, you found yourself in the streets not knowing where you're going to be, what you're going to do. But if you can trust me to let it go, I will build you piece by piece. Because I was having a mental breakdown. I was like, I'm just not happy. Like, I wasn't happy with life. I wasn't happy with nothing. I'm like, God, you ain't got nothing for me. How, when all I see is pain? How can you tell me my life is going to be different when all I see is wounds? Who's going to heal this scar? Who's going to heal my childhood scars? Nobody, I wasn't wanted. I wasn't loved. Like, what are you going to do, God? And God told me two things. He said, take the Bible out, take your journal out, and learn me for yourself. Once he told me that, I started to see, it's like that transition was him breaking off the weight. It's almost like women, a lot of women and men, we go through a lot of stuff in the streets. We have these weights on our shoulders that little by little, he started to show me, you are loved. You are important. You are what I called you to be. But you gotta forgive people. He was like, Shanaya, I can't talk to you if you don't forgive this. I can't talk to you if you don't let this go. And I wear this banner. It's called Beauty for Ashes, because I felt ugly. I hated myself. I hated everything about myself, from my complexion to my looks to my. If you got a book, I can tell you, I hated Shanaya. I even hated my name. It was to the point where I was able to write down the insecurities, the transparencies, stuff that I couldn't even tell my family members about myself. Everybody looked at me like, oh, you're so strong. You love the Lord. The reason why I love the Lord, because if I look this way, I'm out of here. I don't think my family even realized how close I was to the brink of death. I used to fantasize death. Like, I mapped out my obituary. I mapped out the end of life because I didn't want to live no more. I'm like, God, I'm just done. I didn't see a happy ending. And it wasn't until that pinnacle moment, I lost my mother. And that's when I said to myself, after losing my mother, after God restored our relationship for 2 years and then she passed away, I was like, now I don't even have, what I'm saying? What do I have? I don't got my mother. What do I have? So then that's when God was like, it's time that you build your foundation on me. And he was like, and I promise you won't be disappointed. You learn me for yourself. Don't learn me for what the preacher said. Don't learn me for what if I'm your Lord, you have to learn who I am. And and that's when I felt something like break off me. It's almost like I can breathe again because I was transparent. The key to transformation, be transparent. Say that you're not okay. Say that if I'm depressed, I'm depressed. If I'm suicidal, I'm suicidal. If I'm done with life, I'm done with life. If I hate myself, I hate myself. I always encourage people, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to feel like I'm not having a good day. You ask me how I'm doing, I'm horrible. I'd rather say I'm doing horrible and get the help I need than act like, And I realized I have this false view of what I was. Like, it's hard to explain, but everybody has this view of what people think, and I had to get over people. God had to be like, Shanaya, I allowed a lot of people to walk out your life because I needed you to not care about people.
Well,
and you need to be a professional God pleaser. Those are the words he gave. You need to please me. Do what I tell you to do. And then that's when the transformation started. And that's when he was ministered to my heart about being suicidal. I got my Bible right here. He was like, they was like, I feel your testimony. Listen, this is a summary of it. But he was like, you don't have to learn me from me, use it as your identity, and really trust me, because I couldn't do nothing if I was an emotional wreck, So I say all that to say that the transformation happened where I learned to let it go. And it's a lot of stuff that, when you get molested and abused, it's hard to let that go. And it took years. This is a process that I'm talking about. It might sound like it was quick, but it took years to smile again. I lost all joy when my mother passed. Wow. Like, I couldn't even smile for like a whole year. Like, nothing was funny. No joke, no nothing. Nothing was funny. So certain things in life he walked me through. I journaled. Like, if I have so many different books that I write down all my emotions with, and I cried it out. I wept it out. Like, I really, I really wish it was a 1-2 step, but it really wasn't for me. It was nice. I just cried myself to sleep. I played my worship music. I did what I felt led to do. I want to say that. It wasn't something that someone could say, hey, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I surrendered. I vented to God, and I got quiet, and I did what I heard. And I heard, I heard rest. I heard, and that's so important. Like, we have to know him for ourselves and get in that quiet place. Shut down from social media, all that. And that's how the fragmented pieces, like my mind was broken into so many different pieces. When you're in a system, you think like a system kid. Like, I can't explain it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you think I know how to put on and I know how to put off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really sweet, but I'm from the streets. Like, people get that twisted. Like, I'm really kind, but if I wasn't right, I can get you. I can set you up to get got if I wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the streets, so I had to learn to be transparent so God can heal all of that.
All of the pieces.
And put my mom back.
And because of the relationship, right? Because sometimes people, they go to church and that's a good thing, right? But the problem is sometimes you always have to go to church, but the church never comes to you.
Come on now. Come on.
And that's why sometimes when people can't, they're like, well, like Christians, sometimes they sit on this pedestal or this high horse, right? And they look down, right? They look down on you while preaching to look up.
Yeah.
See, now this is a problem. This is a problem. Right? It's just because they go, well, oh my gosh, she's suicidal. That's not of God. Oh, she got molested. Like, they can go down the gamut of what's wrong, right? And judge, right? But at the same time, they don't meet you where you're at.
Right.
They always say, come as you are.
Yes.
Oh, come to me.
Yes.
But at the same time, sometimes the church should be ministering and going out to the people. Because if I'm mistaken, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Jesus went to the people.
That's what he did. That's what he
maybe
did.
That's what I thought.
That's right.
Right. And so it's just a lot of times, like, the organized church, sometimes they put a lot of shame on people.
Yeah.
Oh, you were suicidal, so you're not going to get into heaven. Yeah. Oh, you were this, like, you were that, like, and they always cast this judgment on people, right? Instead of meeting them where they're at and showing them and showing us, like, hey, this is why you should come to Christ, right? By example, right? Not just lip service, right? Because that's what happens a lot when people just have lip service. They talk a good game, but it's just like, and that's where a lot of people kind of tend to stray away. Yeah. Right? It's just it's because of stuff like that. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
So I love what you said about relationship. I love it because that's a one-on-one. Like, that's a one-on-one thing. Yes. You know what I mean? And then you can find out just for yourself.
Yes. And you learn the character of God. Like, God's character is loving, is not condemning. He don't make you feel uncomfortable. He don't make you feel less than. He pushes you. So once I started learning God for myself, I would go to churches and say, I know God. That's not God. Let me move on. I know, but when you don't know him for yourself, you allow them. You'll let someone in the church lie to you, and that's where you get stuck. Because somebody who, when you know him, I can walk in different churches in about 5 minutes, decide whether I'm gonna stay or whether I'm gonna go. And then sit out. I sat out of church. When I went through this storm, I wasn't in nobody's church. I sat out until he led me to where he wanted me to go. That's vital. It's like a hospital. Like, we from the Bronx. Everybody don't want to go to St. Barnabas to have their babies. They want to go to Montefiore. Like, it's the same thing. You're not going to go to certain hospitals. You're like, nah, I ain't about to.
There's certain hospitals you can't go to. It's
the same thing.
You're not,
people come out there one way and come out there twisted up, and you still going in. I don't care if I don't care if I was about to give birth. Take me to Montefiore. Don't take me to St. Barnabas. I ain't going up in there.
That's a fact. We all know about St. Barnabas.
Talk about St. Barnabas. You about to mess me up. True story. I went to St. Barnabas. I think one of my sisters on this live. I went to St. Barnabas, and they was not trying to service me, right? I showed off. When I tell you, I acted like something was wrong with me. And guess what? They help me out.
They got you. They got you about it.
We gotta be like that with God. Just pass out and act all crazy. He'll meet you where you at. I promise you. I promise you. Seriously.
So, yeah, Coach Britt said no to St. Barnabas Hospital. Okay. You are too. Yeah, you already know.
You already know. Same thing.
Yeah.
Find it and be okay. If you don't find it, look, you got this Bible. You can be alone with him. You know how to sing. You know how to whatever. Spend your time with him. I promise you, you ain't gonna go wrong if you read it. You ain't gonna go wrong. Even if you don't know about it, it's gonna make you feel better. It's gonna make you feel better.
Not everybody's called to sing. That ain't their calling.
But we don't. Nobody knows. It also.
I'm just kidding.
You can I know. A cat. It sounds. He's like, you sound amazing.
Oh man. So you said a lot, and I think it's true, and it's also just the importance of, like, when you're in the middle of dysfunction, when you're in the middle of turmoil, when you're in the middle of something that is completely just like you can't fathom getting out of it, right? And that could be an array of different things, and what that thing is different for everybody.
Yes.
Right. But the one thing is, there is a time for stillness.
Yes.
And then there is a time for movement.
Yeah.
And there is a time to know, all right, it's time to get up.
Yes.
Right. And it's time to pivot.
Yes.
Because you can't stay stuck in a storm.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because if you get stuck in a storm, we all know what can happen. Yes. Right. So I think, so how do you know when it's time to pivot? How do you know when it's time to say, you know what, this happened to me. Oop, maybe I should move this way. Oh, this happened to me. Oop, I should move to the right. Like, how do you know when it's time
to
kind of transition and pivot?
It's the peace of God. I was in New York in the Bronx, and my great grandmother got sick in South Carolina, and I knew I had to leave the Bronx to South Carolina. And a lot of the times, we don't realize what that peace feels like, because you may feel nervous or afraid, but there's something that's going to say, I know I'm nervous. I know I'm a little bit afraid, but I just feel like I got to move. I feel like I got to do it. And then there's times where there's times you'll feel vexed and just tight, like something ain't right. We all got that something ain't right. When something ain't right, don't make decisions off of when something ain't right, because the peace of God is going to surpass your understanding. When you feel God's peace, everything is not going to always make sense, but time and chance happens to everybody. I don't care. You see these people, it be people overseas, like in Africa, who be like, who may feel like, I don't have these resources, but I knew that I was a doctor. So they started working on animals, started working on this. They kept going. Time and chance happens to everybody. Then one day they bump into, by chance, you bump into somebody on the way to the store, and it gives you your next step. Like, God always gives us what we need for our next season. And sometimes he'll bring it back to us, because he knows when we can't see it. And he also knows when, okay, let me send reminders. Like, I'll send somebody like a Terrence to say, do this. I'll send somebody like a stranger to say, you're good at that. Like, different people was telling me I was good at, like, I make them laugh, or I didn't think I was funny. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
In the streets, whatever. But it's like, after seeing all these confirmations, it's like, okay, God, let me go and move forward. And then as you move forward, two things going to happen. When you're moving forward in God, he's going to favor and push you. It's going to be like, I got to keep going. When you're not making the right decision, stuff on always, you're going to be like, something ain't right. Something just ain't right. Or you're moving forward and things are happening, but you like, I still feel peace. I know the car broke down. I know this happened, but all I know is I got to get to the airport. I don't care. I just know it's that push in your spirit, you know? You just know. Yeah.
It's true. And you mentioned a lot about just kind of just moving in a certain direction once you find peace. And sometimes, like, when you follow like God and when you follow certain things, people tend to think that, like, when you follow like the path, it's like a straight line.
Right.
And it's just a straight line to the end. But I always say, like, God knows the destination. God knows your end point. But sometimes he's the GPS. And what he's going to do a lot of times is recalculate your route.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you ever had a GPS and you drove and you drive, what happens? Sometimes there's an accident. So what happens? It recalculates. And then now And now what was it might have been 15 minutes. Now it recalculates. Now it's 30.
Right.
Then it recalculates again. Now it's 45. And now you hot and irritated because it's like, yo, what was supposed to take me 15 minutes is now taking me 45 minutes.
Right.
But the thing is, sometimes when God is the GPS, just like when you're driving, sometimes there are things that he will move for your betterment, right? And he will move away and say, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm going to put this here because she doesn't need to go down this route. I'm going to put this here so that he doesn't have to go down this route. And it might take a little bit longer to get there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're going to get to their destination.
Yeah.
But if I don't move this, if I don't put this here, they're going to go down this direction. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot more detrimental. Yeah. Right? So it's like, you know what, if I move this here and make them go down another road, they might hit a pothole. Yeah. Right? They might need to get a new tire. Yeah. But they're not going to crash and burn.
Right.
Because down this route is an accident. Yes. Down this route is something different. Yes. Right? And it's just sometimes our journey, right, it's going to be like this. Oh, yeah. Our journey is going to go in various different ways. Oh, yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. And sometimes that's frustrating, right? You know, why didn't that first marriage work? Why didn't that first business work? Yeah. Why didn't why didn't, that job work out? Oh, yeah. Why didn't that friendship work out? All of those things, it hurts. Oh, yeah. It always hurts. Oh, yeah. Right? But at the same time, if we trust, yes, you'll always get to your final destination. Oh, yes. You'll get that marriage. You'll get the right people around you. Yes. Right? Like you'll open that business. You'll write that book. Oh yeah. Right? So many people fail. Like it's really not failing, but so many people write books and it doesn't work. Yeah. And then it's one book, boom. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's like this. Yeah. But if they would have stopped when they saw, right? Yeah. As far as they saw like okay, so we're stopping here, and we have to reroute. If they stop at the point where they get frustrated, they'll never get to where they need to go. Oh yes. And they'll never get to their destination. So it is key, like you said, to kind of, no matter what, when you feel that peace, you feel it and you keep going. Keep going. Yeah. You feel it and you keep pushing forward and you keep going. Oh yeah. Because you're still gonna get to your destination. But sometimes in a storm, it gets cloudy. Oh yeah. And we look for sometimes, yeah, we have to sincerely mind our business. The biggest problem that we do, like social media, is a blessing, but it can be a curse at the same time, because a lot of the times I will look and see what I have amazing friends who are all doing great, successful things. And two things we have to do on the journey: we have to keep our mouth closed, stay tunnel vision, stay on task. Stop you asking people to validate what you are, because that person God didn't give it to this person and that person. They supposed to be if they supposed to be a realtor, if they supposed to be a garden, whatever, they don't got no words for you. They don't know your journey at all. So they'll tell you, they'll just give you whatever advice. And then some of us will stop what we're doing, and take their advice and go on a whole different path. And then some of us will look at what they're doing and saying, well, they made this amount of money in a year or two. They blew up on social media. What's wrong with me? And everybody's journey is completely different. We gotta literally stay tunnel vision and stop looking at everybody. Like I even stopped Facebook for a season. I'm like, I don't want to see what your life is like every day. I don't want that in front of me. I want what I'm supposed to do in front of me. I don't want to see what's going on, because then we all got 24 hours in a day. So we can't be mad at the person who's like, I'm not. A lot of successful people are not looking left. They're not looking right. They're in the zone, and by the time they look up, there's so many people cheering for them. Like, oh, okay, thanks. But they're in the zone. They not, And that's what. Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, before you make a decision, I always say pray about it, and if God don't say nothing, don't move. Because there's times I try to manipulate God. I really was like, oh, let me pray about this. Let me pray about this. I don't feel nothing, but I'm going to do it because I really wanted to do it. And it ended up being a disaster. I lost thousands of dollars making decisions off of what I really wanted to do, because I was frustrated,
Yeah. Oh, and frustration will do it to you. Frustration and desperation. You know what I'm saying? Like when you feel like your back is against the wall, and when you feel like you don't, like it's like sometimes like the desperation of it makes you just, boom, I need to do this because I am desperate, you know, to make something happen. And sometimes, like it's like you said, like, you know, your friend can be a real estate agent making like 200,000 a year. If that's not your calling, you gonna mess around and try it and make 20,000. You know what I'm saying? And then be mad because you didn't follow your own vision for yourself, your own goals, you know. And getting money is amazing. I believe in it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But what's the purpose behind it?
Yeah.
What's your purpose? Right? And I think that's sometimes the questions that we have to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
And be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes not everything. And sometimes I'll be honest, not everything is a God thing.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and say, yo, that was me. Like that was me, dog. Like, yeah, I'll be honest. Like, yo, that wasn't God. Like, that wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
That was on me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because it's common sense too.
Yeah.
Like, he gives you common sense, and it's up to you to exercise that. Right? And I think that's kind of it's like that sometimes that's where we mess up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even like us as believers and Christians and this and that, it's just like, man, like everything is God. But it's like, yo, hey, wait a minute. Like, you're a human.
Yeah.
Like, you have the ability to discern.
Yes.
But sometimes our wants and everything else, that's what takes over.
Yeah.
And it's on us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's something that we have to look at and hold ourselves accountable for too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to be like, oh, Christian, all right, this is a God and the devil thing. No, the devil didn't do that, bro.
Yeah.
The devil didn't do that.
Come on now.
You did it.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes it's like, oh, devil be busy. The enemy. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you do the same thing all the time. Like, if you eat bad, it's like, oh, man, the devil's giving me 20 pounds today. I mean, oh, Lord. Nah, man, you gave yourself the 20 pounds, man, because you was eating the burgers and the hot dogs and the chips and all of that. That was you.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes that's where we got to be honest with ourselves, right? About our decisions.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
Right? And then you hold yourself accountable for those decisions and then ask God for the guidance.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Oh, yeah.
So I want to talk about a little bit about the power of words, right? Because we kind of touched on it at the top of the show, where I know we talked about some of the things where me and you've had conversation, the power of words and power of kind of pouring into somebody and pouring into, but what about the power of the words over your own life? Like, how has that impacted your life, right?
Yeah.
Because as much as I could pour into you and really just go, there's a place for that. But what about the things that you say over yourself? Like, how has that impacted your life?
Well, like spending over 20 years being suicidal and depressed, I had to go back and renounce. RENOUNCE. I think that's how you spell it. If not, y'all, the word is renounce. I had to renounce. I had to uproot. I had to tear down, and I had to destroy all the wicked words I spoke over my life. First I had to cast down, like, this is all I did. I said, Lord, I renounce every word that I said about my identity. I renounce calling myself ugly. I renounce wishing I was going to die. I pulled down the words my aunt said about me. I pulled down the words my whatever said about me. Every word I could think of, even back when I was a child, or when I was in high school and I'm walking down the hall and different people saying stuff about, I had to curse, cancel, and destroy all those words by faith. And then I said, because there's a scripture about that, about uprooting and planting. Then I said, I plant words of beauty. I'm beautiful. I am important. And I had to write it on sticky tabs. And I don't care if you got to put it in front of you. I had to take that as my medicine each and every day, because it's hard to tell somebody when someone's been suicidal, depressed, or went through a trauma. It's hard to tell them, oh, be positive. Like, man, look at you, like, it's easy for you to be positive. What life did you live? Okay, you got your two parents and you're this and you're that. And you got your, all right, well, take a walk in my shoes and see how have a nice day after going through what I'm going through. So I have I'm learning that, yes, positive words are important, but we have to get to the root of why it is. some people, it is hard to say, you know, you're beautiful, right? You know, you're handsome, right? You know, it's hard for them to come into agreement with that when all their lives they were told they were nothing. So we gotta renounce and we gotta uproot that stuff. You gotta, some stuff is going, it'll cry it out. Like I'll see a woman and I'm like, well, you're so pretty. And one woman I said that to, she was like, she gave a look like, no, you know, it can't be me, you know, or look at me like, what's wrong with you? Why you, you know, like, like I don't want you, but it was, I can tell that was foreign to her ears. And a lot of time when that's foreign to your ears, it's a heart issue. So it's hard to speak when the heart is hurt and broken. So when people say speak positive, let's get to the root and say uproot the negative first. Then you can plant these positive words to come into agreement with. Because now I have joy in my heart. I can say, oh yeah, I'm there, I can say all this stuff now, but I couldn't even, my mouth wouldn't even utter those words because I'll say it to get you out my face, but I ain't believe it. I ain't believe it. You know, so once you deal with the root of the hurt, like for real, I don't care. Like some hurts and some things we've been through, we can't even talk about. I've been through some certain traumatic events that for the sake of people who was involved in the events, I can't even speak about. I had to write that down, uproot it, break it, and cast it out of my life by faith, and then ask God to to heal my heart so I can speak, these words that can bring life. Yep.
And that's powerful. Is just learning, kind of just uprooting the things that you've already learned. And retraining your mind and retraining your heart and retraining your spirit.
Yes.
That's super important too. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, then now it's like now you have the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to start now reprogramming.
Yes.
Saying and saying different things. And now that you're saying different things, now you're believing it too.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's very powerful. And that's why it's so important to have certain people around you.
Oh yeah.
Because
you better you better say
while you're putting in all this work on yourself, and if you have some people around you that's not trying to put in that work on themselves, they can drag you right back to where you were. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Oh yeah. I was helping a friend out. I had a friend who was discouraged and stuff, and I just started encouraging her. She got a phone call not too long ago. Somebody just talking negative. And I'm like, listen, you gotta cut these people off. I had to, this may sound a little raw to some people, but I had to imagine if everybody in my family passed away. I just had to say, listen, I had to act like I lost everybody in my family. How would I live life? It would be a different world for me, but I had to really envision if I lost everyone I love dear. Let's not say they died. Let's just say they just say they don't want to rock with you no more. They just cut you off. I said, okay, God, I'm going to lift my head up. I'm going to focus on you, and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to stand firm. I'm not going to let nobody drag. I don't care if it's your siblings. I don't care if it's your kids. Some people, I don't care. It don't matter who it is. Be willing to start all over. Once you get that mindset, God is me and you. For God I live. For God I die. I don't care if nobody rocks with me. I rock with me. Once you believe that, man, please, you a bad somebody. You ain't got to work. Please, you a bad somebody. People know they can't call my phone with the yin yang. There's nobody who will call my phone saying I'm going to walk out your life for me to be like, to go back to that place of depression. I had to think like this, Terrence, because if I didn't think like this, it would take a sibling to say, oh, I don't want to talk to you no more, and I'm all sad and depressed. It would take a cousin to be like, I don't rock with you no more. I had to think like that. This was life or death for me. That's how close I was to ending my life. Like so many attempts to end my life. So I had to I don't have a gray area. I have to be all white or all black when it comes to believing in myself. I have to be. Yep.
And so when it comes to just, I would say kind of purging some of the people in your life, I like to call it the gift of separation. I think that's something that, some people don't believe it's a gift. Some people just believe it's like a loss. But sometimes if you get the right people out of your life, then the new people, then you have new people.
Oh yeah.
And it makes room for the people that is assigned to your life. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are just in your life to just take space.
Oh yeah. And you gotta believe God. Yeah. When he shows you the people who is gonna pull you down. The sad thing, Terrence, these aren't people that are fly by now. These are 10, 15 year plus, 20 plus family member bloodline relationships.
Talk about it.
So you have to grieve that separation and sit down. There was relationships that I lost that it took me about 2 years to get over. It was such a, but I thought we was going to be together forever. And God told me I had to destroy the words, that the promises and the oaths that we make to one another. Oh, I'm going to be there, ride or die all life. And you can't give people these promises if God didn't say they're supposed to be in your life. Just because they said, people get their friend's name tattooed on them. You don't even know this person. All right. Listen, I'm old school with it. I'm like, listen, me and you got for me personally, for my personal friends, I like people who like to lean on this. Personal relationship, not religious now. I don't care if you speaking in tongues and hollering, screaming and shouting. That doesn't draw me to you. It's just the rawness of, I'm going to lean on him no matter what. Those are the type of people that I like to, like you know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
Those are lifetime people that I can be like, okay, God, that's my friend. That's my friend. Just because we got curly hair, you black, you from the Bronx. Damn, please. No, those are fly-by nights.
And some people could be there with you for seasons. I think, and that's okay. Yeah. I think that sometimes there are seasons in life, right, where people are going to be with you for a season and a reason. Yeah. Right. And you've got to honor that season, and then know when it's time. Yes. When the seasons change. Yeah. It's time to go. Yeah. Right. Because it's like when you hold on to this thing, like it's like you said, like it's like these life bonds, right? Yeah. Where it's not really supposed to be a life bond. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And instead of being propelled to the next level, you're being held down by an anchor. Yeah. Right? Like you're being held down by something that's holding on to your feet while you trying to go forward, and it's just a tug. Yeah. And sometimes it won't be until you cut that anchor that you can rise to the top. Yeah. Right. And it's so important that I think that we learn that not everybody's meant to stay. Yeah. And honestly, not people are deserving enough. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? To stay in your life. And sometimes you won't get to where you're supposed to be because these people are with you. Yeah. And as soon as you cut bait with these people, all of a sudden doors open. Oh yeah. New opportunities. New jobs. Oh yeah. New businesses. Oh yeah. New friends. New love. New this. New that. Oh yes. But if these people were still on you, you wouldn't even have it. You wouldn't have that. Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? And I think I think as a people, like, we love nostalgia. Yeah. Like we love holding on to old. Like we love our old shows. We love our old music. Yeah. We love our old friends. Yeah. We love everything old. It's very nostalgic. We love everything that our grandparents said, our parents said, our great parents said. But here's the thing. Some of that stuff was nonsense. Yeah. Some of that stuff your grandparents told you, that your daddy told you, your mama told you. Some of it's cool. Yeah. Some of it's not. Yeah. Some of it's outdated. Oh yeah. Right? Some of it doesn't apply to this today. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And it's just like, for example, like with men, you have guys telling you for years, men don't cry, men don't communicate, men don't need to talk. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. That's from the old school, right? Yeah. Is that good? No. No. Not at all. And now we have generations of men who don't know how to communicate, and we're like, why? Come on. Because you listen to something from the old, that doesn't apply to this right now. That's right. Right? So it's like we have to learn to discern and not get so stuck on what was before. Yeah. Right? So we could look in front of us so that we can get to the places that we need to get to. If we want more healed homes, more healed men, you know what I'm saying? Then we can't keep looking behind. Like we got to start instilling new things. That's right. Right? You know what I mean? New ways. And breaking these generational curses that's been holding us down. That's right. Like they always say, like the old school, oh, what happens in this house stays in this house. Well, that's why each generation's house is dysfunctional. Come on now. Because everything stays in the house. That's true. Nobody else talk about nothing. That's true. all the trauma stays in the house.
That's true.
Nobody talks about nothing. Nobody wants to go to therapy. Nobody wants to pray. Nobody wants to do none of that.
None of that.
It's just, but that's from back there.
Oh yeah.
And I always feel like if you are trying to drive forward in life, right? If you're trying to drive forward, what's going to happen if you keep looking backwards and driving forward?
That's right. That's right.
Can you move forward?
No.
Or are you going to crash and burn?
No, that's right.
You can't even walk and look backwards.
Yeah.
You got to move forward.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes like we've really got to get to a place. Like we've really got to get to a place that we actually are moving forward.
Right. Yeah.
We respect the old. We respect and we take some of the things from the old, but then we build with what we know because we know better.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Good.
Yeah. You know. Anyway, you know, I'm going to tangents, and that's all. So no. So you know, I want to hear more from you.
I love it.
Yeah.
The demon said, breaking the generational curse is deep. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's hard. It's not. When you're first generation to come out of a lot of stuff, yes, it is. Oh, yes.
I think that when people, you know, they make a big deal, and as they should about my first generation, you know, going to college and stuff like that, which is great. Like, that's dope. But then it's like, man, we need to be the first generation to breaking these curses.
Come on now.
You know?
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to get to certain things, like, you know, like this is good for generational wealth, money, right? But we need to start doing, how about making generational mental health?
Come on, you better talk about
it.
That's right.
You know, it's just because a lot of people getting money, but they're not right up here.
Not right. Oh, come on. They look the
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people out here smiling, having a good time. Yeah. But then internally,
they're broken. Yeah.
This is the problem.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause especially in our community, we are, for a lot of us, we're born into the red when it comes to mental health.
Yeah.
You work, like we've worked in certain programs. We've seen the kids.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them were born into the red with mental health.
Yeah.
They were born into trauma.
It was hard. Yeah.
And people don't understand this. Even some of our own people, even some Christians. Oh, how does that happen? How did he end up like that?
Come on now. Yeah.
Why do you think how do you think he ends up that? Can you come off your high horse for a second, please?
Come on now.
Come off the, like, because you're not the one that's on the throne. God's on the throne. But a lot of us in the Christian world, it's like we're sitting on thrones here. No, come off the throne and come.
Yeah.
Come to the hood. Come to certain places and see that there's more to see than what you are seeing out there. Maybe you come from a great place.
Right.
That's beautiful. But how about maybe if you make yourself visible, now somebody can look at you and say, man, like that's a great example.
Yeah.
Like we've got to get more just into each other.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Instead of just being for self.
Yes.
Too.
That's right.
Because that seems to be a big problem too. It's like we're all for self a lot of times too.
Oh,
you know, and we're very judgy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Shame on you.
Yes.
You know, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
But what about your sins?
That's right.
Oh, we ain't gonna talk about that, right?
That's right.
See now that you always throwing them glass stones, like you throwing them. You throwing stones in the glass house.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a problem that we're having. Yes. And, you know, I'm glad that we're having this conversation too, because I think it's needed.
Yeah.
You know, I think that your testimony, number one, appreciate your testimony. It's absolutely amazing, and people need to hear it. And that's why, and this is why I wanted you on the show, because people really do need to hear from people like you. You know, from somebody who has made it, from somebody who has done so much, and has also took the time to look back and bring some people along to help the youth.
Yeah.
To help the youth. And the one thing I could say about you is to watch the youth and how they react to you is amazing. They love you. Like, there's something about you that they love and that they gravitate to. And never take that for granted, because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out here who don't have, you know, mothers and great dads and things like that. So they gravitate to you. They look to you. And that's an assignment, and that's a responsibility.
Oh yeah.
And so it's so amazing to see how people respond to you, and how the kids and the youth really take to you. Yeah. And they trust you.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, because a lot of kids and, you know, young adults don't grow up in trusting environments.
Yeah.
So if they trust in you,
that's saying something about you. That's the God in you.
Yeah. I was overwhelmed by that though, because I don't think sometimes it will be times that I would see so many stories of kids in different environments. There was one kid that came from foster care and was, abused and raped and brutally. And this young woman, everybody teased because she looked different and awkward and, and to sit down and hear her story, she was timid. She didn't really say much. She was so sweet and so kind. But to know her story, I was just like, I was taken aback. I listened to her story and I had to kind of like go to the bathroom and get up and walk off. And all I could do was just cry. I was in the bathroom like, God, help me to get myself together, because she's leaning on me and she don't realize she's ministering to me in so many areas that I can understand her. And I just had to go upstairs to the bathroom and just, okay, breathe. Now come back to her and love on her and just really love on her, because when I saw a lot of kids, it was just love. Remember, we had gangbangers. We had real life, straight out, shoot them up, bang, bang. We don't know if they're carrying a gun or a knife on them, because we didn't even have no real monitors.
That's a fact.
And they all, and they will sit down and talk to me. And I'm like, all I can say is the glory of God. Because I'm like, thank God, because y'all know, y'all talk about little Pookie. He'll set it off up in here, but he won't shoot me. Y'all better show these kids some love. It was just love. It was just love.
And that's what these kids need.
Yeah, and that's my prayer. My prayer is to never take advantage of it. Never be like, but try to incorporate a safe space. Because if it was up to me, I'd buy a big house and take all of them. Everybody live, and I'd be like the old mama in the shoe, just everybody's mama. Like, I'll be big mama to everybody and big sister, big whatever. But I thank God for the social media platforms where they can find that love in me, at least through a virtual way, until I can, my ultimate goal is to do camps and stuff where they can really get healed. I'm talking about my heart's desire is to really have a camp where the people there is just loving on them, and where and the people have a voice. Like, that these kids have been traumatized and they have to be loved on. So I'm real funny. So I have cameras everywhere, like everywhere you go, like, and I have to pray and fast about the people because a lot of kids are at critical places. Like, it's critical. They're critical. Like, I'm talking life or death. Like, the wrong word can make somebody off themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can kill themselves. So I just thank God, And it's through experience. It's just, I was there before. I can't judge you. I done did it all, been there, done that. It's
right. Look. And I think that's and that's why people can relate to you. That's why the youth can relate to you, because you've been there. You don't judge, and you embrace and you hug.
Yeah,
right?
Remember, I was hugging her. I was right. Somebody didn't let me hugging. I'm gonna hug these kids. You crazy? I'm hugging them.
But then they ended up loving you though.
Ain't that crazy?
At first they didn't like it, but then after a while they embraced it because they know that they needed it.
Right.
Sometimes people don't know what they need until they get it.
Right. That's true.
And then it's like, oh, I kind of like these hugs now. And then now, if you stop hugging them for like a week or so, it's like, wait, well, what happened to that? Like, you know what I mean? So, keep doing what you're doing. Keep loving on these kids because they definitely need it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But I appreciate you for doing it. I appreciate, the work that you do. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely needed.
God, yeah.
Like, I appreciate your testimony. I appreciate the person that you are and the woman that you are.
Thank you.
Because we need more of that. The empathy, the compassion, but also the realness too.
Okay.
Right? You're a powerful person. You're a powerful woman. Right? And I think that you know that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm walking that now. I want to encourage women too, like men and women, but my goal is for women to be that safe space for women to know I can be as bold and unique, and even if the four walls don't like me, I'm gonna stay in my lane. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and don't worry about what everybody else, is saying. Just be authentically you, because being authentically you is enough.
Yeah, that's right.
And if it's not meant for somebody, then it's not meant for them.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to always walk around and being like pretending, you know what I'm saying? Or trying to just walk and like be everybody's everything, right? And And it's just like, it's not real.
Yeah.
Like, you're not being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
All you're doing is you're trying to be a chameleon to fit in everybody's box so that they can like you and accept you.
Come on.
But when you are authentically you, then you will find those authentic people that is assigned to you.
That's right.
And I think that's something that we're not for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So we shouldn't try to be.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
But just be yourself. And the people that is supposed to be in your life will be in your life and stay in your life.
Again. You better say that again.
Right?
You better not go nowhere, Bishop, because I'm letting all y'all know I will hunt him down. And we about to look. I'm going to listen. We have some problems. Have some problems.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time too. You know, we're not gonna take up too much of your time. You've already given us an hour of your time, so you know, definitely appreciate that. And maybe we could do this again if you like.
You already know. You better call me. You already know. Whatever you want to talk about. Whatever you want, I'm here.
And I appreciate that. But again, I'm proud of you.
Yes, thank you.
I am proud of you. Like, you know, we come a long way, you know what I'm saying, from those days in the office.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just brainstorming and talking about different things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And now look at you doing everything you said that you was gonna do.
Yeah, but I want to thank you too. I want to thank you too for the opportunity. Thank you for like being a mentor. Sincerely. Thank you for being like patient, being a mentor, being a voice of hope and that voice of reason. And just being uniquely you for real. Like seriously, Terrence, like you've changed a lot of people's lives. And I'm one of them. There wouldn't be no Jewel Talk TV if you didn't tell me to do 60 seconds of Jewel. So I thank God for you being that visionary to push me. Like I truly thank God. I don't take that for granted. Like you the best. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get all emotional and stuff on here. You know what I'm saying? But you already
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you though.
You're welcome.
So we'll do this again. Thank you and continue doing your thing. Everybody go follow Shanaya at Jewel Talk TV. She's mad cool, mad funny, and always putting out that good content. And listen, tell people where they can follow you too, because you got a bunch of you got too much social media for me to remember that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Jewel Talk TV on Instagram, but tell them all about the TikToks and everything you got going on.
Yo, I got like 5 TikToks. Okay, so one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna remember that.
I'm gonna tell you my main 2. Okay, so Jewel Talk TV. I'm on TikTok. That is a prayer channel. That's why I do 60 seconds of prayer. Whatever you want to pray about is, you know, I kind of I ask the Holy Spirit to lead me into what to pray, and then I pray for 60 seconds. But that's also gonna be on my YouTube channel. And I have one called The Sense of Life. So it's the SIINCE of life. That is when I just be comedy, fun, laughter. Y'all can just see my personality. So those are my 2 main TikToks, but all of them are both on my Instagram. Like I share all the videos I make on my Instagram together. So some days you'll see me praying, and some days you'll see me acting silly. So,
cutting up.
Yeah, being a hot mess. That's me. That's me. I like to pray and I like to laugh. I like both.
Authentically you.
Yes. So you go follow.
We love it.
Go follow.
Cool. Listen, this is going to be everywhere. This is going to be on Spotify. This is going to be on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. This is going to be everywhere by tomorrow.
I'm excited.
You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I'll send you the links to everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But thank you again. We definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome. Now see y'all later. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yes. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to your family too.
Thank you.
And your lovely husband too.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Later. Bye-bye.